Welcome to Edu-Tech. Welcome to Series 3 on Institutional Perspectives to Comparative Human Resource Management.
Recruitment and selection in Nigeria is selectively done. It is selectively done and determined by managerial decisions and referral. Managerial decisions and socio-economic, socio-political connections. If you don't have connections, you cannot. It is difficult for sometimes for you to get a good employment. But in the United States and Japan, which are coordinated market economy, the recruitment selection practice they call shukasu in Japanese language operates. It is popularly a situation that exists in where workers are highly screened. In the US, it also involves selective hiring of new workers and minimal screening is involved. But in the Japanese system, it involves the recruitment of fresh graduates. The recruitment of fresh graduates, which is popularly called. You can look at it in your lecture notes and see that comparison. Compensation, the same thing. We compared compensation practices. Compensation practices, like we had also in our previous lecture. In Nigeria, compensation is based on grade, status differentiation. The level of your grade determines how much you get. You have salary structure in Nigeria. We have salary structure. A certain level of amount is paid to a certain status. We also have incentive method. We have individual method of incentive. We have group method of incentive. Individual method of incentive. We have group individual method bonuses. And some perks. Group incentive. We talk about profit sharing and other forms of group incentive schemes. Training and development in the US. In compensation in the US, it is performance rated payment. You pay as you receive, as you work, as you perform. Performance determines how much money that is paid. In the Japanese system, it is usually a group payment. In Japan, payment is based on promotion. Compensation and promotion are based on performance and seniority. Training and development is a bit slow and very expensive to invest in human capital in Nigeria. Training, generally, organizations run away from training because training is very expensive. Most of the organizations see training as a cost rather than as an investment. They are afraid if they are trained, you may not remain. That worker may not remain, may not stay because he has been equipped with training. And so he becomes a high flyer. People may poach that worker from where he has received his training. And so organizations look at it with mincing eyes, to reserve training for those that they are sure that after training, they will remain. They will stay and work and perform so that the return on investment will be recovered. And so that is applicable to training. In the US, training is decentralized to company level, highly innovative. Training is vocational. Vocational training is paramount, is key in US method of training. vocational training, innovative training, you know. Whereas in Japan, training methods include also in vocational training and the use of job rotation. You know, job rotation is a method of training. Training is very, very important in every organization. Most of the organizations resort to job rotation. They prefer job rotation to any other method of training because of its expensive nature. Performance appraisal. We compare performance appraisal across the three countries, Nigeria, USA, and Japan. Performance appraisal in Nigeria is sometimes dialogue. It is, I can't even, classify the method of performance appraisal in Nigeria. The method we have modern methods of performance appraisal right now. The 1 year method of performance appraisal is obsolete. It has been overtaken by performance management system, a system that evaluates or appraises, assesses employees or workers regularly. A 1 year performance appraisal is outdated and obsolete. We have what we call check-in feedback system of performance appraisal, which requires, some of the organizations are embracing it right now, even in Nigeria. They, every 2 months or every 3 months, or every week. Some organizations do it every week. They are leaders, and that's why they have sectional leaders, unit leaders. They organize themselves together and then hold a brief meeting of assessment, appraising all they have done for that week. That's the kind of appraisal system that is involved. Most of the companies that are popular all over the globe, they have embraced check-in and feedback system of performance appraisal. In the US, they have rapid or continuous evaluation and promotion based on performance. Continuous. That's what continuous appraisal, and not 1 year or 6 monthly performance appraisal. The last one we compared with the second to the last was employment type. Employment type. What type of employment do we have in Nigeria? Employment type. What type of employment do we have in Nigeria? What type of employment? What is the popular employment type we have in Nigeria? The popular type of employment we have in Nigeria is casualization and contract staff and outsourcing. And the multinational companies are in the lead. And most organizations, including banks, have also followed suit. If you graduate now, you go out there to look for a job in the labor market. They put you, they will not even look at your certificate. They give you a job and decide to give you any amount of money. They exploit both your physical and mental effort. That is the type of employment type we have. When they employ you, they will not give you the due salary. They will not give you allowances. You won't have the allowances. You will not have the salary that is due you. They will not. They place you on casualization. And if no appointment is given, they won't give you appointment because they can hire and fire you anytime. That is the type of, we call it atypical type of employment, or non-standard non-standard type of employment. That is the type of employment we have in Nigeria. In the US, it's not like that. Employment is based on merit, based on what you can do. Before you are given a job, they give you a practical interview, and not written interview. Practical interview. They do what you can do. That is why performance is performance. What you can do. That is why it is individualism country or culture. It is high individualism. It is an individual effort, what you can do as a person, and not what certificate can do for you. And so they put you on action learning and simulation method of training. In Japan, Japan is a country that also their type of employment. America, is a flexible. That type of employment is also flexible, like the one I explained in under USA. It's flexible employment. Flexible. It's also called flexible employment or work arrangement. Temporary and permanent. That's what I have. Japan is lifetime. The lifetime employment applies. Lifetime employment. If you work in one place and work until you retire. The company provides everything for you, including the government, because it's a socialist country. The aspect that the company can do, they do. The aspect that the government can do, they do. But while you are working, you will work there for life. You don't have to move from one company to another. You know what that means? It means before they employ you, you must be fit for the job you want to work on. Job must fit. You must fit into the job. That's what I mean. Must fit into the job. And so the interview is not only oral, it is also practical, what you can do. And so when they employ you for life. Until when you are old, you want to, you can now retire. That is the employment type in Japan. What about employee? We compare also employee representative. Employee representative. In Nigeria, employee representative is characterized by low union density. Union without union activities. There are unions, but the unions are not mentioned as there are few you can mention can trigger instability in the organization. They are politically inclined. A situation where a leader of a union, labor union, will go and contest political election position signifies that they have a political inclination. They are not sincere in their leadership. Then when you go to other company organizations, there are just two companies, two unions, two pragmatic unions, the Nupeng and Pengasi. That's all. And they are unions without unionism. They are just existing in them. Those workers in the oil companies are being attacked from them. It is only those in the top, the senior rank, that benefit from the organization, from the oil companies that are silent. But the majority of the workers are on casualization. Those that do the work are casual workers and contractors. The permanent workers are very few. The number of casual workers and contractors are numbers, they are greater than in number than the permanent staff. And so that explains why there is low wages. I mean, they pay them money and they receive jumbo salary. Why there is union avoidance? Because they know that if there is union organizing, that they will solidify. So their solidarity will break their imperialist motives. That is what we have in Nigeria, what we experience in Nigeria, union without unionism. Collective bargaining is decentralized to plant level or enterprise level. In US, in Nigeria, there is also weak collective bargaining. Nigeria, there is weak for collective bargaining. How many ASU has been bargaining with the Nigerian government? Yet, up till now, the bargaining is still on. You can see that bargaining in Nigeria is not easy. It's a Herculean task. In the US, there is also low union density. It prevails in the US as well. The low density in membership, that's what I mean. If the unions have low density of membership, their members are not great. They don't have enough. The number is not much. The membership is low. Their solidarity, it will affect every aspect of their activities, union activities. But where the number there is strength in number. So when the union membership is low, the strength will be low. It is as simple as that. In the US, because there is no union, there is no membership, they avoid unions. It means that membership, that the union activities will also be affected. So if you go to pages 57 and 58, you should be able to read how we have compared these practices across the 3 countries. You can also take an exploratory literature review and about other countries we have mentioned, like UK, Germany, Canada, and the rest of them. You can do an independent study on these countries and use the characteristics that the market economics exhibit to derive or to compare the practices. All these practices are values. They are value systems and relations of people and organization. And this relationship manifests into policies and practices. HRM practices are nothing but values. They are organizational values, societal values that manifest those practices. So if you're able to look at a country and be able to classify the country, look at the culture, look at the national culture, and then relate it to society and people, the people and the organization, you'll be able to know what their HR practices will look like. I have given you a note on criticisms. All these culture, institutional perspective, they have their criticisms. They have been criticized also. They are not perfect. There are certain things that can change these practices, and they will not be the same. And so these two, the cultural perspective and the institutional perspectives, they provide reasons. These two aspects provide reasons, why human resource management practices differ across countries, across cultures. Now, the other two we are going to look at in our next lecture, that is institutional isomorphism and universalist and contextual HRM, or convergence and universalist HRM, human resource management. We provide reasons for similarities. We have these two we have taken are for differences. The other two we are going to take in our next lecture will teach us or educate us reasons or provide reasons for differences in human resource management practices across countries.